Folks, this is unbelievable news, as unbelievable as it is unbelievably sad. Watch this.
So you're arguably the candidate with the greatest advantage in this race. You've been the vice president. You weren't burdened down by the impeachment trials. Or in the participation. So how do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little bit confusing in Iowa. Number one, but let's assume everything was exactly.
I mean, can win the national election.
I have to say one thing.
Iowa,
I don't think she's.
Iowa, and why should the voters
I don't think she's dog-faced. She's kind of cute.
Win the national election.
It's a good question. Number one, Iowa's a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little bit confusing in Iowa. Number one, but let's assume everything was exactly right in Iowa. The idea that you come in with about half the delegates that the leaders come in with in Iowa does not necessarily say how you're going to win Pennsylvania, how you're going to win Michigan, where, by the way, the Black Caucus of the Michigan legislature just endorsed me in spite of all of this, where the union.
Okay, okay, I don't know how you recover from that, because this is the second time Joe Biden has went off the rails. Well, I wouldn't say, went off the rails, because when I first saw that on the Colbert Show tonight, I couldn't believe it. I thought, he actually did that? He actually called a woman a lying dog-faced pony soldier? I mean, the goodness of the people there were such that they thought, okay, well, that's just Joe being Joe. But the woman had this look kind of like, I don't believe he actually said that to me. As much as she was listening to his answer to her question, right? And it was well-meaning. It was really a well-meaning question. I mean, well, why did you not perform well in Iowa? But every time the former vice president gets challenged, he got challenged by a gentleman early on in Iowa who was really sort of in his face, and Joe challenged him to a fight. Right then and there. Come on, I'll fight you. And he didn't need to do that. There's something in him where he's at points taking extreme reactions in normal situations. He's got to, I think, take a step back, get off the campaign trail, and find out what's happening up here, okay? Because it's not serving him well, and it's leading to a great many misstatements and a great many episodes that I'm sure if he thought about it again, he'd like to have it back, So I can't see how he carries on with his campaign successfully after this. He could do it. Donald Trump did, right? Joe Biden might say, you know what, the heck with it. I know who I am. I know I'm a good person. I'm just going to barrel on with it, right? But that was not Joe presenting his better angels. It was quite sad. It really was. So let's see what happens with this. It's quite disappointing that Joe Biden would take that route. And let's take one more look at this. Just take another look at this, folks. Look at this.
So you're
And a nice
arguably
smile.
the candidate with the greatest advantage in this race. You've been the vice president. You weren't burdened down by the impeachment trials. Or in the participation. So how do you explain the performance in Iowa, and why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. It was a little bit confusing in Iowa, number one. But let's assume it was everything was exactly right in Iowa. The idea that you come in with about half the delegates that the leaders come in with in Iowa does not necessarily say how you're going to win Pennsylvania, how you're going to win Michigan, where, by the way, the Black Caucus of the Michigan legislature just endorsed me in spite of all of this, where you...
Okay, so I mean, in looking at it, she's not dog faced. Okay, she's cute, but okay, maybe he shouldn't step down. But he certainly should apologize, because there's just too much meanness in the world. There's too many examples of people saying mean things to each other, either in person like Biden did then, or on social media, right, which is pervasive. And we have to have a cooling of the jets here. And I know Joe would agree with that. He may very well have already apologized for that on Twitter or social media or Facebook or in another video. I think he should do it by video. It should be his face and voice saying, hey, I made a misstatement and that was wrong and I apologize. I think he ought to do that. Because it's got to be kidding me. Anyway, subscribe to Zenny62. We'll see you.